What to say when you catch a colleague staring at your chest? And they've got some advice for girls.
I actually have a good one for the guys who get busted.
What?
Because this is for the girls who get busted.
When the girl says, "Why are you staring at your chest?" You pull your blind cane out.
Yeah, you put you go, sorry, what was that? You put the glasses on and the cane goes, sorry, who said that?
You should always show up to work with a blind cane and glasses because they can't fire you these days for that kind of stuff. So if you rock a blind cane and glasses, you sort of have a free for all, right?
Yeah. So
what do you think about that for a YouTube prank? Staring at girls' tits with a blind cane.
For sure, you could definitely do that.
That is the kind of stuff that some people make on YouTube.
I know. Well, we knew the one guy. I actually went and looked at his channel, the dude in Toronto.
I know who you're talking about.
You know exactly what I'm talking about, just to see what's going on.
He used to make pranks that was like, not kidding. They were like pulling someone's chair from under them prank. Or like even worse. Like, I don't know. What are some of his worst ones?
They were all insane, but they were all super clickbaity titles and stuff and like super clickbaity thumbnails. And they're fake. And then like, but you'd watch
there was one where he literally, the guy sits down, he pulls the chair out of him and they pretends to run after him. And it was like, this is so fake. And that's the whole prank. You pull someone's chair from under them.
But like, dude, I went and looked, and I guess it eventually catches up to you on YouTube because like he has like 200,000 subscribers on his channel.
They might have been fake before, maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I remember he had some big videos though.
Yeah,
at one point.
He doesn't have subscribers now. It's not.
No, he has a lot of subscribers, but his video gets like 1,000 views.
I know.
On like 200,000 subscribers, and it's mostly people being like, "What is this shit?"
No, it's all stuff like, you know, poking a guy's back prank. Like, you know what I mean? He goes and pokes the guy in the back and the guy pretends to get mad. It's like wild.
Yeah. A lot of like weird, a lot of sexual stuff too.
What are the sexual?
Like there was like, I caught
fake
people
dick
banging.
prank.
Yeah, or like people banging in the stall or whatever, and he had like fake legs or whatever, and then like, but it's obviously just like his buddies who were acting, and it's all made up. And
yeah, it's maybe the worst pranks I've ever seen in my life.
Really bad.
These are not good.
But anyways, I got a good one. So because here's what they give the women things to say. Mm-hmm. If a guy's looking at the titties,
and we need to give the guys things.
And we need to give the guys. So this one is
I would never.
Yeah. Well, so here's one. Here's one.
It's a good. Isn't that good though?
I'm gay. What?
She goes, "Were you looking at my tits?" You go, "Jesus Christ!"
No, this is actually
You're gross.
This is actually a legit one. It says, "My eyes are here, and I appreciate. My eyes are up here, I guess, or here." It says, "My eyes are here, and I appreciate making eye contact with someone when I'm speaking." And then you say, "Sorry, but I'm actually neurodivergent, so eye contact is difficult for me." And you go, now you're like, you're literally talking shit to a disabled person.
You fucking nailed it.
Yeah. On the "my eyes are up here," I go, "I'm neurodivergent."
That eye contact is problematic for me because of my disability. Oh man, that's
got him.
Oh, you win. You know, you got to be smart with getting your boob looks.
Of course.
But you're going to be, you can't be the creepy guy at work staring at tits. Like, I always think if you think of it the other way, like, you know, your chick should be able to go to work without every guy fucking like obviously staring at her tits.
Of
like,
course.
you know what I mean? Yeah.
Especially if it's like, like.
But that being said, let's not get crazy and be like, first of all, don't say that I'm not going to. Obviously, I'm going to take a stare at a tit, but there's another part. It's like, if you know, it's easier to like picture it. Like if you're the person, you're not going to be able to picture yourself as a girl. But I think if you picture your chick, it's like an easy way to like picture what's fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you go, if your chick has big tits and she's going out of the house to work with like a dress where it's like just mad cleavage, you're going to be like, and then she was like, "Oh, these guys have been staring at my tits." You'd be like, I mean, yeah, like how do they? It's pretty like. That's a bit like,
guys.
How much are the puppies out?
Of course. Yeah, I don't.
If you got mad cleavage showing in the meeting,
obviously.
Now,
but again, why do you have mad cleavage in a meeting?
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's like meet in the middle here. We're gonna try to make it not obvious they were staring. You can't have it and shove it in our face.
No. I mean, it's sick if you want to shove it in our face. So.
But then you can't. That's the contract that we have to make as men and women.
There was this dude at one of the comedy clubs we work at who was the bouncer, one of the bouncers. They were always like have new bouncers, and there was this one guy they had there who was like maybe the most aggressive perv I've like ever seen.
Really,
dude? It was one of those things where you're like, yo, you like legit give guys like a bad name. Dude, he would like people because he'd be checking ID, and then like a girl would walk out.
Is it a comedy club in Brooklyn?
Yeah, okay. And a girl would walk out, and he'd like stare at her, and then he'd walk after her.
He'd take a few steps to get a better view,
and like watch, and literally just like watch her for like a minute. And I was like, dude, that is so creepy. Like insane. And he would do it like a lot.
Yeah, this guy is giving us a bad name.
Yeah.
And you know what's funny? There'll probably be articles coming out being like, white men
Totally,
staring.
right? But it's like, yeah. And it was one of those things where you're like, I was like, holy shit, dude. Like, be a little subtle. Like, zero care in the world about anybody
So
looking
there's some
at him
dudes that are bad at it. So
Oh,
yeah.
yeah. He was-
You gotta pick your spots. Everyone knows that. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Play it delicate when you're checking your puppies. I'm not trying to be out here saying you're not going to look at the puppies, but if the girl's dressed very conservatively, the more conservatively she's dressed, the less obvious you have to be.
Yeah.
Girls got the puppies really out. You don't really have to try that hard to look at them for starters.
Of course. Just like, you know.
What I recommend, Danny, is you have when you have like a paper that you're looking at, poke eye holes in it.
That's a good one. Or the Homer Simpson eyes. Through the glasses.
Through the bushes. You're always just messing around with the plants. Yeah. So that's why maybe like cams in the bathroom, perhaps.
Cams in the bathroom are good ones. Those are always reliable.
Cams in the bathroom.
No, it is actually a good.
Cam,
No, it is a good one if you want to talk
mirror
about
on the
cams.
shoe.
Is you have like a little lapel cam. You don't look at the puppies, but then you go download the footage and look at the footage later.
Yeah.
That works.
I'll get you into some heat though.
Well, I'm saying you're not doing like upskirt stuff. It's just like you just have.
You go. I was just trying to record my day to make sure I wasn't harassed, and she's like,
Yeah.
it was on my tie. It's like, oh, you thought I was looking at your boobs? Just looking at you.
Yeah, you're like I'm one of those police auditor guys or whatever.
I was just trying to. I was auditing the staff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's an
Your
auditor.
puppies happened to be in it, but I wasn't looking for
Yeah, I
that.
wasn't looking at them, but then
You're right. You take a normal video, but the puppies are in
Yeah,
the
you go
normal
like I was
video.
recording like 10 hours today. Yeah, I saw your breasts. I looked at them for
Just
like
the
clothed, like totally.
like I'm
clothed
seeing
for a
them
minute.
now. Yeah,
I
you're
don't
in my
know.
purview.
Yeah, I don't know.
No pun intended.
Perv view.
You had to clear it up just in case. So there is some accountability when the guns are out. Come on, you know. So
I like the way they worded it so formally too. They go, I noticed that when we speak, you look down instead of
no. So what
looking."
Danny's talking about is this is the list of
This is the question.
list of things that they say what you should do. Yeah,
But it's like it's very formal because it's like office speak.
yeah.
You know, it's like I noticed when you
A male interviewer once told me that I look naughty in my high neckline dress.
That's again like when you're like the dude, you go like, what are you doing, man?
Yeah, they're using exceptions and trying to say they're the rules. But there is, again, like I know people that go to like their workplace functions and like one guy gets fired every time for like
course.
making an inappropriate pass when he's
course.
got a wife and it was just throwing a Hail Mary fucking drunk at the end of the night.
Yeah. And honestly, all the guys see that and they go, that won't be me, but next year it's one of them.
Yeah.
They go, that'll never be me. You go, next year it goes, who's up?
No, people get drunk, they start partying, the workplace these days, it's like there's other places to do it. You at the very
Any
least,
other place.
you got to let them make the first call.
Yeah.
Unless you're like it's almost one of those things where it can be pulled off, but it's for pros. Like that kind of shit is for pros that are you got to be able to like make very subtle things that like check if she's down and you're like there's no way that what I'm doing can be interpreted.
You know what
wrongly.
though? But yes, but also like there's just I don't think the risk is really like
It's
unless you
too high
have
risk.
some super shitty job that you can like I could just go fucking get this job tomorrow somewhere else. But you're like if you have any sort of decent job, you're like the risk just does not
in a corporate setting, if you work at like a bar, everyone's smashing.
right. But it's like the risk just does not equal the reward.
If you're at the like friggin' Google company function, it's a high risk, low reward situation.
Yeah, and even if you go, well,
Get a prostitute.
even if you go, the risk of me getting busted is 1%. Still not worth it.
No, it's
even if
too
it's
high.
that low.
And even if you do bone them and they really wanted it, and then it comes out, you'll get fired and the girl won't.
Exactly.
It's just everything's in their favor. It's too risky.
It's just too risky.
And it's a power move to turn girls down too if
Sure.
they were looking for it.
And you might get fired for that too. So it's tough. It's tough. these
Well,
days.
then now at that point you might as well smash them.
Well, you don't know though. You think you're doing the right thing, and then they fucking go to HR and because they're scorned, and then make something up, and then you're out
A
anyways.
woman's scorn.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So now we'll say what the things they said.
Oh yeah. So
I just want to explain what the
Right.
framing was.
because I noticed that when we speak, you look down instead of looking me in the eyes. What's the reason for that? It's those big ass titties.
What's the reason?
What's the reason for that? Like it's like scolding a child, you know, where you make them like admit the thing even though everybody knows.
That's what they're trying to do. Yeah.
What's the reason?
Is there a reason for that?
for that? And you're like,
I'm autistic.
Yeah, I'm not. You're like I'm autistic.
Huel says, they're just balls of fatty tissue attached to my chest every day, whether I like it or not. And to be fair, I love them despite society's ample efforts to turn me against my body. So,
by the way, sorry to go off, not way off topic, but do you know JJ was trying to get a wet nurse when he was with you?
In where? In Chicago?
One of them, yeah.
I mean, I just feel like he's always trying to get one.
But he's
a girl to suck milk off her tits.
Like, and
I feel like he's always trying to do that,
dude. Maybe I don't know. I guess I don't want to know. But he called in last night.
He's the guy that got fired from the corporate setting. For sure.
For sure. But he like called it. But he's like the janitor who would get. Right? He's like the janitor who's like really getting touchy with like the executive C-suite. You're like, what the fuck? But he's like, dude. He's like, yeah. I was like, I almost had this one $250 for an hour, and I'm like, but he's like, is it sexual?
Like, do you just actually suck him?
You just drink the milk. I'm like, dude, go see a therapist.
That's
it's like obviously
crazy.
something with your mom.
It is 100% something.
Like
with
you have
Jewish
some issue
mom.
with your mom where you're like hiring a wet nurse to suck her milk for an hour.
Yeah, like,
and that's the transaction.
And you're not even banging.
Not banging.
That's insane.
That's fucking. He said that. I was like, and then he's like, yeah, there's no sex. I was like, what?
I thought he was banging them.
No. It's
the
just
hell?
sucking milk out of the titties for an hour. It's like one of the craziest things. I was like, what?
Hey, looking at his watch for the time.
Still got some time. So nuts. Like, I know there's so many fetishes, but it's like weird when you know people who have them.
That's crazy.
But I guess like maybe you can rub one out. I guess that's like
he's got.
But again, you're
can't
literally
imagine.
rubbing one out to you playing pretend of you being a baby and that's your mom.
I don't think he tries to pretend to be a baby.
I'm not saying he's straight, but I'm saying that's like the archetypal thing. Like if you went to like a therapist, you're like, that's what's going on.
Maybe he likes a mom though.
Yeah.
But
like that is like
I don't think
mommy issues.
I hope
he
max, dude. If JJ is pretending to be a baby, like how bad would it be if we went to the Reddit forums and we find him in the Reddit forums trying to be a baby? He's looking for like what do they call it, a caretaker or whatever.
Yeah.
There's probably, we always said this, but there's a lot of guys looking for caretakers, not as many girls trying to be caretakers.
No.
It's just all
quite
dudes.
skewed.
Yes, there's a lot of dudes looking for some titties.
Yeah,
to
there's
suck.
a lot of payments having to happen going one way specifically.
Well, this girl said she says as much as the world's trying to turn her against her boobs, so all that anti-boob propaganda that we've been seeing, like I feel like the only anti-boob propaganda would be like from the like transgender stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
But, like, who has the anti-boob propaganda?
I don't know.
Can't imagine there's that much of that.
No. Boobs are best.
Yeah, but all their things they just have different ways to say eyes up here.
Yeah, eyes up here.
And she goes, the person could bring up, is there something on my shirt of something? This is a subtle way of communicating. I see you, and I want you to know that I saw that. That wouldn't like these either. If I was looking at you, she goes, is there something on my shirt or something? I go, I would.
What?
I feel like I would play dumb, like very much like, what do you mean? So what you're looking at?
No, I do. Yeah, right there. And she looked at it and go, oh.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah, that'd be good to get them.
And then a honk and you walk away.
Boop their nose and then honk them. All right. See you later. See you at lunch.
You're going to be my lunch, by the way. You'll be sucking on them titties. You go, this is really not appropriate.
That's you leaving, screwing up that line. And also, you're gonna be my lunch. That went a lot smoother when you say it before you get to work.
Yeah.
When you're actually in the cafeteria dropping that line, then you're going to be my lunch.
Yeah.
I'd like you for lunch. What?
Some other guy goes, what the fuck did you say to her?
What'd you just say to her? I said that you're going to maybe the one getting lunch today. I was thinking, but could you get lunch? You're going to keep working.
Oh.
Could you potentially get lunch if you don't mind? If it's all the same to you,
it's all the same to you. It's like I just like some milk for lunch.
Just pull out a pistol and shoot yourself.
Oh, this went badly.
Or you can point out eye contact. Oh, that's just what my eyes are here.
That's us. Yeah.
I appreciate it with eye contact. That's just the oldest trick in the book, right? I've sometimes pointedly crossed my arms across my chest. That's a big one. You're staring at the girl and she just just covers them up.
Yeah, and
she says cross her arms.
Yeah, you go, hey, I don't want to be staring at your arms right now. What are you doing, lady?
What are you doing? What's his arm business? Why are you crossing your arms? Which calls out explicitly And the men will be so embarrassed that sometimes embarrassment is how they learn. So there's no right or wrong answer. But if you feel comfortable being direct, you can also simply say, the way that you're looking at me makes me feel uncomfortable. I'd appreciate if you'd look at my eyes and not my other body parts.
Yeah.
There'd be nothing worse than having to go to HR and you get into HR and it's like you have a complaint that you're looking at a girl's tits too much. You'd quit. I'd quit.
I go, I'm not though.
It'd be pretty fun as a backup. You go to the HR the next day and you say she was looking at your crotch area, play fire with fire, and then the girl has to go to HR and they go, hey, Danny says you've been looking at his dick while he's been trying to work. Fight fire with fire.
They would never buy that.
That'd be so embarrassing. And then they go, after it's reported to the HR, it's a legal obligation to have to do the investigation, but it's making me laugh. The investigation is all the HR guys like looking at the tits.
Yeah, he goes, let me see him. It's like
they're doing spy. Yeah, they're like crawling along the ground to get like a good fucking
they
view.
have like the lineup, like all the lineup.
Yeah,
Goes, all right, number
yeah.
5, step forward. Can you just bounce? Can you just bounce a bit?
Bounce.
All right, thank you.
Bounce. This is the investigation. They bring the guy in. They go, how were they?
Yeah, were they nice?
Were they nice puppies?